Welcome to another edition of, hey, we're doing it a dual edition today. We're going to do the Black Wealth Experience podcast as well as the Mile High Real Estate podcast. Today, we're just excited. I have Wil Hmabright on today. It is going to be exciting talking to him. He knows what he's doing. He's in the industry. He's working hard. He's going to school. He's doing all these things to better the community. And this podcast is about home ownership. We know that home ownership and real estate is probably the number one way to start personal wealth and generational wealth. And I've really been kind of, honing in and thinking about a whole lot of ways to help people generate generational wealth or help people generate personal wealth. And when I say that, I'm not talking about, the wealth where you're so, the Kennedy wealth where you can never possibly run out of money. I'm just talking about, us as a community, us as folks that are trying to move ahead, having a little bit to give to somebody else, us having a little bit to have a little bit of extra at the end of the month, and then start generating that where that money makes money for you. I was looking at a statistic today that said, the average equity in a home is about $240,000, which is really kind of, unique when you think about that, because most folks, let's say most folks have been buying houses in the 2000s. And over the time of being able to create that equity, over $200,000 is the average equity. And it's a little even bit higher. That's the nationwide. In Colorado, the equity of most people's houses is a little bit more. The last house that I purchased, went up, about it right during the pandemic. And, it's over $200,000 in equity just there. And I think about people who are living in apartments, well, you can kind of think about that. I know you know somebody there. If they're spending $2,000 a month, that's $24,000 a year. That's $240,000 if they stay there for 10 years. And you think about, this thing, well, why would I wait? I want to wait till interest rates go down. Well, how much is it costing you to wait for interest rates to go down or wait till the houses are going? I don't think the houses are going to go down. I think they're gonna either stay where they're at or go up, and we can talk about that a little bit here in a minute. And I don't think interest rates are going to dramatically drop. The fire sale of 3% is over. And so today, Wil, I'm so excited that you're on. Thank you for being on. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to really just kind of talk about this thing called real estate. And first, before we get going, I want you to introduce how to get a hold of you. What are your phone numbers? What are your emails? If there's social media, how to access it, and then we'll just kind of talk about your story and what you can do to help folks that are there. So go ahead and kind of introduce who you are and what's your how to get a hold of you.
Well, first and foremost, I'd like to take the opportunity to just thank you for the opportunity for bringing me on board. We met at NARAB and we connected well, and it's always good networking and meet new people with different perspectives and ideas about the market. So first and foremost, thank you for seeing me as a valuable asset to come on your program. So I'd like to give you
thank you
those in the first place.
Yeah,
that's it. You get what I'm saying. So, a little bit about me. Born and raised in the city of Detroit. I know I don't look my age, but I am a retired Detroit police officer. Almost 20 years on the force. You get what I'm saying? So, everybody look at me, think I'm
29, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they be thinking I'm in my mid 30s or whatever. 20 to me is a
little young, yeah.
That's too young for me at least. But everybody, I guess I just have a young vibe, a young spirit, and I credit the Most High for that.
Amen.
But so I got a wealth of experience behind me dealing with the public and people. So being out here in Colorado, I've been here for 7 years now. I call this phase 2 of my life. One chapter of my life that's over and done with. Now, with life, we have new progressions and new experiences, and I consider Colorado as one of them. So one of them, I do a lot of other things. I ain't gonna get into all of them, but the one we're talking about today is real estate. I've been in the real estate business for almost I'll tell you about 20 years. I got my real estate license back in 2004.
Wow. Yeah. You were 24. That's 20 years. You're
Yeah.
right.
So I was doing all that in conjunction with the with being a law enforcement officer at the time, being a supplemental income. But I was wearing a lot of hats even then. I had investment properties. I had quite a few investment properties, and I'm saying I just never lost the passion for wealth building in that regard. I've been through the ups and downs of the market, like you mentioned just a moments ago. We're going to get into that about the interest rate and et cetera. So during that time, I mean, that was kind of standard for interest rate, because when I first bought my house, and I had like 750, 780 credit scores even then. You know what I'm saying? I got my first house at 6.1%, if I remember correctly. You get what I'm saying? And that was considered the norms. And we talking about around 2008, 2009, which led into the mortgage meltdown. So you get what I'm saying? I've seen the trends of the market.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So the company I'm with is Via Terra Real Estate. Via Terra is a private brokerage.
Okay.
Located here in the Denver, Colorado area. You know what I'm saying? It's not your big box places like Remax and Keller Williams, et cetera. I ain't got nothing against those establishments. I prefer to be more private because it just works better for me. I can't speak for nobody else, but it just works better for me. And it's more independent in terms of how I can meet your needs without all the other noise going on the other side. You get what I'm saying? So my phone number to reach me is 720-661-2060. I'm on all the social media platforms. I mean, you see my name, Wil Hmabright, and you'll pretty much find me pretty much on all the social media platforms. I'm mainly on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, but the most of the ones I mainly deal with far as content and everything is mostly Instagram and Facebook. I know everybody, so many directions you can go now on social media, but I choose to stick to those because those has been working better for me.
Gotcha.
Yes, sir.
Well, here's what I can kind of say. You're in that mix of Facebook is a partial because we're a little bit older. We were not using Snapchat like the 29-year-olds.
Yeah.
I'm 58, so I'm still trying to use MySpace. It just doesn't work all the time.
Is that still around, man?
Yeah, Napster, whatever.
Oh yeah, he's still around.
Back in the day. Hey, but the main thing is that people can get a hold of you. Well, one of the things that I just admire about where you're at, and you're saying it's a second career, and you're saying it's these are things that you're doing to help the community, and you spent the time doing that and serving the community, and I just thank you for your service while you were doing that, because I can't imagine that it was an easy job being in Detroit as a law officer there.
Detroit, I hate to say it, that might make some of y'all mad, but I'm still a Detroit Lions fan.
All right, I love it. Well, hey, they won, right?
I can't just divorce where I came from.
Yes,
that just wouldn't be authentic or true to myself.
Yes, I love it. But one of the things that I love about where you're at is you've done it before. When we're talking to people and we get some folks that get into real estate and they do some stuff, they might be just selling real estate, but they don't own a house yet. They may be talking about investment properties, but never had an investment property.
Exactly.
And so one of the things when people are looking is say, if success leaves clues, how do I follow those clues or that breadcrumbs or those places that allow me to see somebody else who's done it? Somebody in many cases that looks like me, that has been around like me, that has had a job in the public sector or that kind of stuff, and has been able to make and start creating stuff. What would you say about that journey of being able to do several things at the same time? Because I know busy people get things done, but what was that like in your last 20 years, I guess, of trying to do a whole bunch of things at once and finding some success at it?
Well, when I got my real estate license initially, it was particularly for, of course, my benefit. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to learn about real estate. I wanted to learn about investments. I already knew real estate was one of the main vehicles to wealth. Now, there's other vehicles you can take. You can get in the financial industry. You can get in what you're doing, the mortgage industry. insurance, stocks, all that. All those three entities could lead you to wealth or to be rich, however, whatever term you want to spill on it. You get what I'm saying? It don't matter what vehicle you take. I've actually done insurance for a moment, but I dialed back from that because that was not where my heart and passion was. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So I tasted a little bit of everything. Okay. But the one that fits my persona is real estate. Now, to answer your questions, to get to any of those fields, you can become successful in all of them. But it always goes back to the one thing. And what's that? Education.
There you go.
You got to get knowledge. Bottom line. Like I said, when I started in real estate, I didn't know nothing. I was reading Robert Kiyosaki, nothing against all of those books.
That poor dad, but yes, I hear you.
All those books are good to get your mind motivated and stimulated to get going. You get what I'm saying? I even read Donald Trump, whatever your opinion about Donald Trump, blah, 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 blah. I read his book, The Art of the Deal. I didn't read it for political reasons where he at now, but during that time, that book has a lot of info. We talking knowledge now.
Yeah,
that book has a lot of knowledge in it of the ups and downs of what he went through. You get what I'm saying? And all I'm saying is the wave of the market, it does not matter what it is. It applies to pretty much everything. You get what I'm saying? Absolutely. You just got to be able to recognize it. And being educated is that tool to get you there. You get what I'm saying? So when I got my real estate license, I wanted investment properties, not only to help people, in the community. My goal was to get an apartment building community. You get what I'm saying? I had several real estate investment homes in conjunction with mine in Detroit, in conjunction with being a Detroit police officer. You get what I'm saying? So my goal, and I was married at the time, not to dab off and do pardon of that, but you get my point. I was married at the time, and how that spiraled was my goals at that time was to get my investment homes to do a 1031 exchange into an apartment building. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, all the training and teaching that I've learned from those self-taught way. Now, you talking about somebody that's no different. I'm no different from you. You no different from me. I'm just an ordinary individual with just a desire to get from point A in my life to point B. All of us have that dreams. Yeah. You all have that dreams as well. So it doesn't matter who you are. Just get the knowledge and get going. So all I'm saying now is that information and education that I obtained, it actually worked. Reading Dad, Poor Dad, reading all the books and taking action just based upon the knowledge that I had then, it worked. Now, guess what happened? 2008. Now I'm on the slide. I got my real estate home. I got my income coming in from being a Detroit police officer. I got some income coming in on my investment homes. Me and the wife at that time, man, we happy. You know what I'm saying? But what happened?
2008.
You already know.
Yes.
Man, and I would say that was probably the biggest, disappointment. And it happened amongst all of us. You get what I'm saying?
Of course, it happened to all of us. Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I felt good knowing that time it wasn't just me, but it was the world economy in conjunction with Enron, the stuff going on with Madoff and all this stuff and all this weird corruption going on with the mortgage meltdown and all the, I can't think of terminology, you know it better than I do. With that going on with the inflated interest rates, preparatory lending, all that. You know what I'm saying? Everything came crashing. So true enough, during that time, if George Bush did not do that bailout with Ford, I don't think Ford took the. I could talk about this junk because I lived through it.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. The bailout with Ford, General Motors, and Chrysler. I think Ford didn't take the bailout, but the other two did.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, if they didn't take that bailout, it would have went from to a big depression at that point. It would have got really, really bad for everybody. And I'm gonna tell you, even though I was living in that region of Detroit, I think we felt the butt of that the most.
Of course, because you're in the central Midwest that
The
manufactures all those vehicles where all those jobs come from, right?
You already know.
Yeah.
So the working class of that area, man, I'm telling you, I lived through that. Nice whole blocks that looked like here in Colorado over on 6th and Monaco.
Monaco.
Yeah. That reminds me of Detroit over there.
Yeah.
Because those are Detroit homes.
Yeah, they do look
at the same time. So every time I go in that area, I feel like I'm at home.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
We had areas like that completely going bankrupt or vacant, people losing their homes.
Wow.
And that was real. You get what I'm saying? So I lived through all of that. So with all that said, the key concept to any desire that you have, you got to get educated and take those baby steps. Don't take giant steps. Take those baby steps as to where the market is at that moment. You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It got to be wise baby step. Don't take those giant ones, because I took giant ones too. And think about giant steps, because you're talking to somebody that got a lot of experience. The giant steps, you and me, I know. You take giant steps, that's going to be a hard fall.
It's a hard fall. But you think about, when I talked about success leaving clues, the biggest portion of success is failure, right? Without failure, you don't get the success. And without taking some of those risks, whether they're risks where they're learning moments or they're risks that set you back where you have to start, you don't go all the way back to the beginning again because of the lessons learned. You brought up a 1031 exchange, and so I just, for educational purposes, kind of explain, because that's the first time, on the podcast we've even talked about this a little bit. Maybe you kind of explain what were you thinking, or how do they work, that people who are thinking about investing and moving stuff, maybe kind of just drop a little bit of knowledge of how that was going to work for you.
Yeah, well, 1031 exchange is really simple, and 1031 exchange, believe it or not, is not taught by a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's only people that's in that field that really knows about it. But just in general finance, it's really not brought up, because you have to have assets or investment. It has to be either real estate or business. It probably could be I don't think it could be land.
No, I think it's got to be
profit you make from that. Say you bought this, we'll use something simple as a small apartment building, just 5 units. You get what I'm saying? It's bringing income. You know what I'm saying? You have equity in it. Let's just say it's not uncommon to have 500,000 to close to $1 million of equity, depending on your location or region you is in that home. Yeah. Now, like your personal house, if you sold your personal house right now and you take, most people usually take the equity from their home to go buy their second home. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which is normal if it's your primary home. The government don't tax you. But if it's a investment home and you take that equity, so you're living in your house now, you own 3 or 4 apartment buildings. That'd be nice, right?
Yeah, you got it.
And you got over $1 million+ of equity in each of them, and you decided to sell them. Now, if you actually took that money, you know what's going to happen? Uncle Sam going to ask you for
capital gains. Yes, they going to ask for their money.
Capital gains. And who want to give the government capital gains on hard lump sum investments that you worked hard for? Nobody. I don't. I'm not giving the government a third or a fourth of that. No. So what you do in a 1031 exchange, you go find a property or a business or it have to be an income generating investment. Not taking the money to put it in your pocket, even though you can, but the amount you take, you're going to be taxed. That's the key thing about a 1031. But if you take all that portion and put it into another higher income producing property to get a higher return, you know what I mean? Then you're not taxed.
There you go.
That's the excellent thing about a 1031 exchange. And you mentioned wealth at the beginning of your podcast, the show. You know what I'm saying? That's how millionaires and billionaires do it all day. And that's how the rich stay rich. The point is, getting there is where it's at in the beginning. Getting established is the whole challenge.
But you got to start somewhere, right? You got to start somewhere. Yeah.
I'm not rich. I'm not no multimillionaire yet. Look, I've been fighting 20 years to try to get there, but I believe God takes us through phases. You know what I'm saying? In order for you to get that kind of wealth, you got to go through, like you just mentioned, some ups, some downs. You got to feel what a mortgage meltdown feel like. I don't feel God is going to bless you with that kind of resources if you don't have the knowledge and wisdom on how to keep it. Because this is how it is. You already know the statistics. When most people come in multi-millions of dollars, you can read this. Many books have written on this, or the lottery or whatever. God, if that were to happen, people go broke, within the last 5 years. Why? Because of they don't have the knowledge on how to keep it.
Yeah. Well,
That's
and you
deep.
start thinking of, we get into it's so deep. We get into some habits, and and as community, and as folks of color that sometimes are doing things, we become consumers.
Yeah.
And earlier I told you that the average equity is $240,000 in a home, but the average debt now, with what's been happening because of interest rates and everything at 22 and 23% on credit cards, is over $90,000 right now. That's the average consumer debt in our communities. And these are folks that you go, wait a minute, if we're really trying to make a difference and we're trying to make an impact, we have to do it smarter. Exactly. we have to do some delayed gratification. And I'm not saying you don't have the Mercedes and you don't have the BMW and you don't have the Land Rover. I'm just saying you don't do it while you're living in an apartment, right? You go find Will, right? And you say, Will, I don't want to spend $80,000 on a car right now because I would look good in it. But the reality is it's not producing any wealth for me. It's not producing any ability for me to get out of the cycle that I'm in of debt, where it just gets a little bit bigger and bigger because I don't have any income producing assets. And the first one is just not even income producing. Equity producing is if you have your own home.
Right.
So Will, I'm loving this conversation. But so if somebody were to come to you, what are they going to get? As far as, hey, I need a real estate agent. I need somebody to help me find a house. I need somebody that's going to understand where I'm at and help me get to maybe not the promised land right now, but at least get me out of the wilderness where I'm working on heading to the promised land. Right? What were they going to get when they come to you, Will?
Well, bottom line, you're going to get a person that's genuine and authentic. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get a person that's knowledgeable, that is not, at the end of the day, going to waste your time. I'm not going to waste your time, nor do I want my time waste. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get somebody that knows the market. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get somebody that's going to walk you step by step on the process of owning a home. You must have a job. You got to work.
Got a job.
Even if you don't have a job, you better have some form of passive income that you yourself got to verify. Because if the lenders are going to lend you, they lending you hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending on what you qualify for, they want to know that you can pay that mortgage. Now, at the end of the day, all of us want cash. Cash is king. You don't need none of us at the end of the day. Well, me maybe, because, you get the house, but we can close the house in 10 days with cash. But that's not the reality for everyone.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you're going to get somebody that's genuine and authentic, that's going to help you walk you through the process, that's going to tell you everything that you need to get that mortgage and to get in that house. Now, I leave the mortgage guys to the mortgage knowledge people. I leave that knowledge to them. I'm not going to get in your personal finances and none of that. I leave that to the mortgage guy. All I need to know is you got the down payment there available with 3%. If you're looking at a $500,000 home and you want a 20% mortgage loan, you at least got to have 20% of that, or 3% or 15%. That's all I need to do. And it needs to be in the bank account, because then when we get to negotiating through the contract process, the listing agent on that side, with their person that's selling the house, is going to require an earnest money deposit. If you don't know what that means, that's where I come in at. It is my job to thoroughly help you understand, that contract, and work with whatever agency, whether it's the buyer's agent, or if I'm working with the seller agent, or you might not want any of those titles and just want me to be a transaction coordinator. All those terminology, I can break it down and I can thoroughly explain to you what those terms mean, because it's all the legality and it's all part of the process of getting into that home. So you get somebody that's really genuine and authentic, and that's very, very knowledgeable.
Which is so cool because we find folks, especially first-time home buyers, whether they're looking at down payment assistance, and I am the mortgage guy, so I'll be up in your finances, up in your business, but at the same time, there's such a fear of this unknown.
Yes.
And I can tell you're going to break it down and say, wait a minute, let's stop here. What is your goal? What are you trying to achieve? Now let's find the best way to help you get that. And from what I'm understanding is I don't think, as soon as you say you get into that first home, you're not just leaving them alone forever and ever, because they probably have another goal of, hey, maybe in 5 years we're going to do this. And then they come right back to you, correct? And say, hey, this is what I want to do now, because we want to put plans together. And I think that's where we've dropped the ball, sometimes in our communities, is we've said, figure it out yourself, or we don't talk to each other, or we don't have these conversations about money. I mean, you are so right. You have to have a job. You have to, your money can't be under a mattress.
No.
For all the people who have it in a jar, it needs to be in a bank where you can see it. If somebody is going to loan you, like you said, hundreds of thousands of dollars, they need to know that you have the ability to pay for it. Because the last thing we want is you to get foreclosed on or get kicked out or anything like that. What would you say to somebody who says, well, I want to wait for interest rates to drop? Historically, since the 90s, they've been at 7.4. That's the average. But historically, we have this mindset of, 3 and 4% over the last few years. I don't know why everybody believes that's what it is. But they're telling you, I want to wait, in order for me to get into something, to those interest rates go down or the housing prices go down. What would you say to somebody who doesn't have anything now, is paying rent, at $2,000 or $3,000 a month, and they're saying they want to wait for our economy to change? What's your advice there?
Well, my advice to them is simple. If you need a house now is the time. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like the wave of the market. You get what I'm saying? Nobody, you or me or nobody in the world can tell you what tomorrow is going to bring. You get what I'm saying? Now, interest rates, that was just a season. How long that's been going on? For the last, maybe 7 years? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whatever it was, you know what I'm saying? It was 2-3 outrageous rates. You know what I'm saying? That was just that season. But to me, that was not a realistic season. You know what I'm saying? Getting a home, man, is the only source that you can, the beginning source, I would say, for wealth. It just is. You know what I'm saying? So if you waiting, I mean, come on. When we was like last 2 years, when it was that cheap, I mean, you was getting into other complications of the market where you had to overbid on the property. You know what I'm saying? You had to put appraisal gaps and everything. It was way much harder to get a house then than it is now. So the time to buy a house is based on your financial need. And regardless of the interest rate, I mean, you can always refinance it down the road. But having a house now is far better than renting an apartment any day. So I would tell them, hey, it's kind of, you're living almost a dream. And I say that tenderly. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, so you say, but Will, that's what they'll come to you, but Will, there's no houses. Houses cost too much. Where am I going to find a house? I can't live in Southeast Aurora. Okay. I can't live in Parker. Will.
Houses was costing a lot then. I mean, look, so they was what? You had a house here in the Denver area. You know what I'm saying? They would price it at what, $400,000. But you had the market be with the interest rate being 3% at that time, where people was overbidding. You couldn't get in the market.
No, you had to have a bunch of cash.
Yeah, you had to have a whole bunch of cash. So people was overbidding on the home by $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. You get what I'm saying? Which in turn brings another cycle. Every cycle that happened always bring consequences. So because people did that cycle then, what the problem you got now? People complain about their property taxes are up now. That's another story in itself.
Exactly.
You don't push the market so far up now. You force appreciation. Now the tax assessors are looking at like Okay, yeah, we're about to collect on those. So you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What I'm saying is we don't have that problem now. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I'm getting ready to close on the house next week. We got it under market, just a little bit under, not by much. You know what I'm saying? House, I think it was, can't remember the exact price right now. I think it was listed at 490, close to 500,000. We got it at 495. So the point I'm making is that bidding war is not going on, and he got a good interest rate because it's VA at 6%. 6%, in my opinion, is a normal market. So the market now is considered to be a balanced market, in my opinion. That's normal, but it beats renting. You know what I'm saying? So when the market does come back, you know what I'm saying? If it does, it may or may not. We don't know. But if it does, you can always refinance a house back down to an interest rate.
Oh, absolutely.
So the benefits of having that house to build equity, I don't see no better way of building generational wealth and wealth as a start.
Yeah, and one of the things that I'm seeing there's so many apartment complexes being built right now. That means that there's going to be a lot more people moving here, or there's not enough room for the people who are here. And you know, and some of them are really nice. You know, don't get me wrong. I mean, these are some really nice places to live.
Don't they look? When we came up, man, them places look like Vegas resorts, resorts now.
But who wins? Who wins in that scenario?
Who wins in that scenario is the property owner.
Is the property owner.
That's
and we get stuck saying, "Oh, I live in a nice apartment."
Yes, but listen to what you're paying on that apartment. The average apartment now in Colorado is between $2,500 to $3,000. The gentleman I just closed the house on, guess what his mortgage is on a $495,000 home at 6%? It's just at or near a little under $4,000. You get what I'm saying? With the points being buying down and they pay some concession point. So you're paying, you know, you're pretty much throwing money. Ain't no pretty much. You're throwing money out the window in an apartment when you can be in a home that is yours. You ain't got to worry about moving. You know what I'm saying? Every 6 months to a year based on your lease. And you know they're going to go up.
They're going to go up.
The way apartments work.
Especially if something happens, right? Something breaks in that apartment, your rent's going up.
Your rent is going up. They put in a new repaved the parking lot. Your rent is going up. But you know why they do that? Me studying that field, because I still desire to be in that field. You know what I'm saying? They do it because anytime they raise your rent by 20, 30, 40, or $150, the property value of that apartment building goes up. And it's not determined by market value when you're talking about a business like an apartment building establishment. You know what I'm saying? How much income that money, that property is producing. You get what I'm saying? That's what determines the value, because it's an income generating property. You get what I'm saying? That's what forced depreciation on that apartment building. So of course your rent is going to go up, because the land order is going to look like, okay, if I can make another, I already got $1 million equity in it. Now, if I can get another 500,000 out of here, let me just raise their rent. See, everybody don't know this. I'm kicking knowledge right now, y'all. Everybody don't know this. When they raise your rent, $150. That property owner like, man, on everybody else here, I got another $500,000 of equity in that properry.
Wow. Yeah.
That's how it works.
That is
exactly. And it's only business. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. If you was doing it, I was doing it. We always do it. It's a different level. So don't get mad. Just understand.
Get in the game, right? Don't get mad. Get in the game.
Just get and to get in that game is to get an apartment. I'm not apartment.
Yeah,
you'll own the apartment once you get to that level, because it's a process to that. But get a house.
Yeah,
absolutely. With a house.
Absolutely.
Yeah, y'all ain't got to worry about that no more. You know what I'm saying? I'm building my equity in my own home where I ain't got to worry about the inflation of rent going up.
Yeah.
You know.
So. Well, we're just about at the end of time. I want to make sure you let people know how to get a hold of you again. So make sure you give those numbers, give those, access to that. And then any final thoughts that you have, we're going to have you back on. What I'd love to do in a few months is let's find a client or somebody that you've helped, or, in the process of, you buying another apartment complex or something like that. Let's talk about this, because I love the conversation we're having, because it's the important conversation to have. It's like you said, we are dropping educational knowledge that somebody's going to hear it and go, I want some more information.
Everybody
And one of the things
know
that I say at the end of all of these is, you can do this. Yeah, you can do this. You deserve this, but let us help you. Because if you're trying to do it on your own, it's great to go read a book, but there's a whole lot of middle pages that aren't in some of those books, that you need somebody who's had that experience to be able to do that. All right, so we'll go ahead and give your information and give us any final thoughts that you have.
Yeah, so my name, like I said, is Wil Hmabright. I'm with Via Terra Real Estate. My website is homesoldsale.com, just the way it sounds. HOMESOLD, home sold sale, SALE.com. You can look me up, all my info on there. You'll see this face. No, I'm just kidding. But it's all valid, it's all verified info. That you can contact me that way, or you can contact me via my phone number, 720-661-2060. You get what I'm saying? My final thoughts, you know what I mean? Come on, get in the game. Get educated. The number one thing about, if you want to know something, is to learn about it and get around those people. It's good to read a book, nothing wrong with books, but books only give you just information. You know what I'm saying? But if you come with me, you're getting somebody that got experience. You know what I'm saying? I can tell you the fine details of what the book that you may read that may sound a little vague, and I can clarify it and give you what reality is, and particularly what's going on in this particular market at this point in time. That's what it's all about.
I love it. Well, thank you again for being on the show. Thank you for, dropping the knowledge. I can't wait to have you back on. Again, you can do this. You deserve this. Let us help you. We can't wait to do that. You've now just experienced another episode of the Black Wealth Experience and the Mile High Real Estate Podcast. So we can't wait to do the next show. So I look forward to seeing you on the next one. You guys have a wonderful, awesome day today.
Take care.
This is Brian Arnold, and if you are listening to this part, you've just watched one of our episodes of the Mile High Real Estate Spotlight, where we've just talked to one of the best of the best. And I want to thank whichever guest that was here. They are phenomenal. They are amazing. They are the top of the top, the best of the best that are in our industry that are here with us today. And so I encourage you to please call them, pick their brains. They work for you. They enjoy working for you. They are incredibly good at it. And so I want to make sure that you give them a call. So whoever you listen to, whichever one you saw that you were there, please do that. The other thing is everyone deserves a home. Everyone deserves a home. I say that at the end of my show. You deserve it. Let us help you do it. My goal is to make sure that we see homeownership. It just sickens me to see apartment complexes continue to go up, because I know those are people who haven't been able to make the call or figure out a plan. So let us help put that plan together for you. I have some websites that allow you to do that, and I'll put those in the bottom, but please do. I am a lender. I do work in the lending space. If you do not already have somebody who's pre-qualified you, I would love to be able to have that opportunity to earn your business and qualify you. My number is 720-682-2223. That's 720-682-2223. Give me a call anytime, and I would love to be able to help you with that. We also do living trust. And so when we think about an estate, to try to avoid probate and make sure that doesn't happen. So whether it's you, if you own a home, and you should have a living trust. And I will say that everyone, not just deserves it, everyone needs a living trust if they own a home. And then finally, just wanted to thank you for watching these episodes. And so please tune into more. Would love for you to see and be able to shop around. So thank you for doing that. Again, I want to make sure that you know that you can do this. You deserve this. and let us help you make it happen. You guys have an awesome, wonderful, awestruck, incredible day today.